Hello YouTube chess lovers, welcome to the Chess Catalyst. In today's video, I'm going to give you a comprehensive guideline that help fix my chess. So I was able to break from 1500 chess.com rating to 1900 rating in just a few months. So for this to happen, I actually had to take a time off from chess, and I was able to gather these principles. There are principles that some of you might know, some of you will know, but most times they are ignored. So in this video, I talk about them in detail. So make sure you stick to the end to find out. And before we go on, if you are a beginner in chess looking for improvement, make sure you subscribe to this channel because I've been a beginner before and I make videos that help beginners to grow. So let's begin. The first guideline you need to know is something all you guys already know. You guys know this guideline, but a lot of you ignore it. The main guideline you should be aware of is to pick the right opening. So I'm not saying the opening you are playing now is bad. It's just that there's a level for you to break through. You need a more compatible opening to break through to that level. So not every good opening is good for you. That's something you need to grab. And I know most times when you ask grandmasters for advice or strong players, they just tell you study the end game, whatever. But most games are lost in the opening. So when you strengthen your opening, it is going to help you a lot. And this was something I never knew before. I try to force myself to play an opening because everybody says it's good. But then when I discovered that was not the case, it helped me. I used to play e4, e5 as a beginner. That is, I played e5 in response to e4. But when I past that intermediate stage, I wanted more because most beginners we are used to we are familiar to e4, e5. So I started playing at least 200 puzzles a day to get myself used to complicated positions so that I could enter complicated games. And that was what took me to play the Caro-Kann and the Sicilian versus the e4. So I'm not generally saying your opening is bad at this point. I just want you to understand that sometimes to pass a level, you may have to drop an opening. Even grandmasters do so. Even grandmasters do so. If you check GM Daniel Naroditsky, well, there are some openings he dropped that he stopped playing because he needed to progress, and that's just it. That's just it. So one thing that could help you know if an opening is good for you or not is go to your games and check how many games you have lost in that opening, how many games you have won in that opening. You can make your judgment based on the data you get. So that's one guideline. Pick the right opening for yourself. That is very vital and important. The second guideline that helped me was this: play less, study more. I know this is going to shock a lot of you guys. Well, you don't have to do it, but it was something I followed that helped me. Okay, I know they say experience is the best teacher, so that basically means the more you play, the more you learn, but it does not always have to be so. You can set a schedule, maybe in a day, play 10 rapid games or so, because from those 10 rapid games you play, when you study those games well, you can get um vital knowledge that may not be available when you play like 100 games without studying them. So that is something you need to know. I have this friend who reached up to 1900 on chess.com and still came down to 1300. That was basically because he was that kind of person. Even when he was not in the mood, he still liked playing. So chess has a mood time and no mood time. So like when you are not in the mood for chess, there are other things you can do. Use that time to study. So when I'm not in the mood for chess, to check it when I'm in a mood or not, I try to solve at least 100 puzzles before playing any rapid game. So whenever you are trying to improve your chess, most times it should be you playing long time controls. Blitz most times is just for fun. So before I play any rapid game, I make sure I study enough puzzles. So if I lose a lot of puzzles, I know okay at that point I'm not ready. So it all comes down to how much of your games do you actually study. So I don't know who put that theory into everyone's head that you need to play a lot of games for you to gain experience, because that's what I see a beginner doing nowadays. You see someone with like 50,000 games and most of the games are losses. I'm not actually saying playing is not good, but then if you want to actually gain quality over quantity, the few games you play, study them. Maybe you can play 10 rapid games in a day, then maybe play blitz and bullet for fun and so on. So you can still continue the way you are, but I'm just giving you tips that help me a lot. If you want, you can continue the way you are, no problem. But what helped me was I played less games and I studied more. If you check my chess.com account, I have, I think, my rapid games, I think, are less than 1,000 or so. But then everyone has their choices. So this is the second guideline that I followed. Another guideline that I followed that helped me was studying games by grandmasters. So this is something that at first you guys are like, okay, you know that, whatever. But what I mean specifically is studying games that are specific to your weakness. So let's say your weakness is in the middle game. Okay, go to Grandmasters games, check their middle game, study the middle game. You don't have to study the game from beginning to end. Let's say you have an end game weakness. Go to professional chess games, study the end games. If you have opening weakness, do the same. And I will advise you when studying chess games, study classical games. The main reason I said you should study classical games is that classical games are actually easier to comprehend than modern games now, because sometimes modern players now just play some moves based on memory, something like that. You can see a game that like is theory till move 30. But games then were not like that. Like some of those moves they played had a reason behind it. So if you could find a reason behind some of those classical games, it is going to help you. You know why a grandmaster played this move and so on. It's going to help a lot. So you can maybe, if you are an attacking player, study Tal. If you're a positional player, study Karpov and so on. You understand what I mean? So choose a grandmaster that is your style, watch his games, and focus on your weaknesses. This tip helped me a lot, and I was able to progress in chess. That's just one thing you have to do. So these are just the guidelines that I'm going to give you in this video to round everything up. Pick the right opening, play less, study more, then study classical games. So some tips I'm also rounding up are: try to play puzzles before playing a rapid game. Yes, it kind of refreshes your mind. It kind of refreshes your mind. And if you actually want to improve in chess, play more of rapid than blitz. You can play blitz, but maybe play it for fun, but play a lot of rapid games or classical games, even though not much people like classical games online. But me, I play rapid a lot. So that is one thing I can tell you. And this concludes this video. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and you can give me a suggestion in case you have questions for the next video I'm going to make. Make sure you also subscribe, because I will make more content like this that will help you. Who understands a beginner better than someone who was there? I was there before, and I will help you guys on the way. So that will be all for this video. See you next time.